All right, ladies and gentlemen, got your watch list coming in October 23rd, and the Grim Reaper has struck the market. It came after hours. Here is the Van Eck Semiconductors ETF, the SMH, but Texas Instruments had their earnings report. They're down 12%. I'm kind of disappointed that we missed this. Honestly, slipped my mind. I was a little under the weather today as well, too. But they guided lower, and it had an effect that spread through pretty much every single chip maker. Intel didn't drop as much, around 1.7%, but some of the bigger movers like NVIDIA, 2, 3, 4%. Obviously, Texas Instrument got hit again, and it's kind of ironic because they got hit before, but this is that Grim Reaper I was talking about with earnings, and I'm even looking for something along the lines with Microsoft, so we'll see what happens. This is important. There's this. It brought the markets down. It didn't help keep the markets up, and even today was a very, very interesting day. We saw the markets really start to move. There was some Turkey headlines and all that stuff, but it really started to move off of Brexit and everything going on there, and the whole no deal and that fiasco just keep continuing. That had an effect on the currencies, and we saw what happened with the euro and the pound and all that, so that's going to be something to keep watch for tomorrow. But all in all, though, we're probably going to see the earnings move still take control as we get a bunch of bigger companies and Dow components reporting tomorrow. And like we said, watch how they report, especially Boeing. That's going to have a big impact on the market. So we got a few things to cover. I got a quick keys for tomorrow with you. Then I want to go over all of the plays we made today. I surprisingly made a lot of plays, and thankfully they actually ended up hitting. This Chipotle is going to be looking very, very good for us. We found a play kind of like the Netflix, not really. I think it was a lower probability chance of hitting, kind of how the ranges were a lot tighter, but it had the same risk reward, and it's literally right where the stock's at right now. We're most likely going to be able to profit from it. But we even held that Netflix too long. You guys can see, dang, it closed down 125 on us because Netflix dropped. So you can see kind of the good and bad of these condors and what happened with that. But at the end of the day, it's going to be an exciting week with everything else reporting. And what we saw even today with this big mini sell-off, anything could happen. So I'm really excited, and I hope you guys are too. So let's get into it though. But you guys know what you need to do. Drop your thumbs up on the video. Make sure you're subscribed. We are live Monday through Friday, 30 minutes before open. And the most important thing you need to do, post your watch list below. Let us know what you're looking at. Let's source that information and make sure you guys are paying attention here during these watch lists. I mentioned some of these plays again. Things changed, so these plays were a little bit different than the ones I ended up taking. So stay in tune, stay involved, but you could kind of see the general concepts coming to life here. But right off the bat, watch the currencies, watch Brexit. If you start to see more and more news come out, go to the pound, go to the euro, see how those move, and those are going to be interesting, as well as the next thing now, because we saw some headlines on it, be careful of the impeachment. See if anything of that comes back to life. We might start to get some of the political moves. That's what kind of today showed us, if anything. But above all, expect the earnings gaps in the moves. We kind of saw it today. We literally had a gap up. We moved a little bit, and then we sold off into the end. And now that is because it was acted upon by equal or opposite force. But this could have also even been foreshadowing, highlight, and pricing maybe what happened with the chips. I don't want to get too ahead of myself, but the market really reflects what happens with earnings. It's kind of a weird phenomenon to see. But watch how tomorrow morning moves. Everything in those big reports in the morning are going to be important. So keep your eye out for that, and then watch the chip makers, both the move they're going to make pre-market and how they play out. And again, even today has been a real big earnings of continuation. So that's what we're even going to be focusing on tomorrow. I don't have potential plays for you guys today. I wasn't looking too much at many plays to make a few days out from here because I had my hands full with the plays to make today, and the biggest issue I had was waiting until near close to get the best price, and that's even what we saw in Chipotle. This thing dropped $30 by the time we made our play, so this had an interesting effect on the condors and the pricing and placement, and even what led me to even decide the range I did on it. But we'll go over those plays. You can see I did end up making one in the morning there, but if anything, watch Tesla, Microsoft, PayPal, ServiceNow. These are the companies reporting after hour, and and somebody remind me too, we need to go over these so we don't miss any sort of Texas Instruments or anything else, and just keep watch on the earnings coming up. So that's the main keys, but let us get into the plays. I was going to write them all out for you, but I figured I'd just bring it up here, and we because it's already written out and made it easier. And I had to make the trades on this account. I wanted to do some on the Robinhood, but with the assignments last week and then the Netflix coming down, I did not have the cash available. So that was just kind of a 1, 2, 3 jab hook uppercut. But again, we got to wait on Netflix and see what happens. happens. But these are the plays I made. I made a pretty good amount. So right off the bat, I'll start with the Chipotle so you guys can see. I did 2 sets of them, as you can see here. I grabbed one in the morning, and again, that was right in the morning. And I wanted to see because it was already, I think it already moved down like 15 bucks, but then it kept going. But I sold the 880 call, bought the 882 call, then I sold the 822.5 put, bought the 820 put. So this pretty much set a range on Chipotle between saying it wouldn't go higher than like 880, 881 and not lower than 821. So that was a big range, but that but that was following in what the market was pricing while the stock was up here in the morning. So the stock did not move as much, and then this was going off of what we were saying yesterday. But what did I do there? It's the plan I said to you guys yesterday, because how big the spreads were. My idea was go in small and just see what could happen. And I mean small by this because I did want to buy more. You'll see up on the other one, I ended up buying 5, but even that one was smaller than I wanted. The whole idea here, I wanted to see what I would get filled at, and I got filled at 169, so it was pretty bad. This was a pretty decent risk to reward, and that was the first one. So this one expires tomorrow. It's below 813, but not higher than the upside. So if Chipotle bounces tomorrow, that play could actually work for us, but again, being only one, my max reward is going to be $100, so that's not where the bread and butter is going to be. The main one is going to be here. And now, like I said, I got 5 of them. I wanted to get 10, but it was a lot harder to get filled on this than, let's say, the Netflix, which we saw. But this play, after looking at it, surprisingly, this was like the Netflix in the sense that the credit was pretty high. I got 196 versus 210, so I got a little bit less credit, and I had to put up a little bit more capital in terms of risks. I think it was like we got $100 less and risked $100 more than the Netflix, but it was still pretty good. I got the November 1st. I got the next week on him, so it gives us time. And again, now as the stock is moved, I readjusted the range, and this was kind of the range that I liked with it. And my plan was, and my logic was that it was already down 30. If you heard me on the live stream today, I was talking about it. I was like, they've already moved down so much. I wasn't really, I was expecting Chipotle to be very neutral, and that's even what I put on the stream alert. I was expecting something neutral, and that's what this play really was. It was a very neutral play, kind of just playing a little bit above and below where the stock was going to go out, and surprisingly, that's what we got. But this play was sell the 855 call, sell the 857 call, sell the 817 put, buy the 815. So pretty much anything lower with the $2 credit now. Anything lower than 857, I would win, and then anything higher than 815, I would win. So here's the thing, it's at 813, only $2 away from the lower range, but considering how high the premium was at, I'm probably going to be up on those tomorrow, just like we were at the Netflix. So that play's probably going to work out. It depends. If there is a sell-off in continuation, we will lose. So there's that play. The next one I did make a Microsoft. These were $100. I did a debit spread. I've told you guys, this was even before the Intel news. I did these right in the morning, kind of expecting some downside to the company, or just the potential where I didn't want to bet too hard on a play, and I didn't like the risk to reward credit. I said I'll just get some insurance puts if there is, in fact, a really negative guidance or anything like that. And that's what I got this play for. I very, very low odds, very, very far at the money. I think about 3% probability. I got filled at 3 cents a contract. November 1st, 125 puts, sell 124s. So the max I'll make is pretty much $1 or $100 per contract. But the key is I was able to get 30 of them. So we'll see how that plays out. Then next, I also got Roku. I was not a fan of them and where they're at. They started giving up, and what made me want to get Roku was that they started dropping today, but the news that killed them last time didn't have the same effect. So this is why I'm coming back to it, because it killed Netflix. That's what killed our Netflix position, was Disney. Literally, Netflix was up this morning at like 278, and then you see these big candles right before open. It was right when Verizon announced that they're giving Disney Plus free to all of its subscribers, and that's what kind of brought this down. But last time we got even the Disney news, if you guys will remember what happened, Roku and Netflix, they got slapped. So with Roku and everything going on with them, they have the ability to move. That one, again, is a lower odd play, but you could see how we've managed it with the budgets. That's $60. If they do make another big move down, we're going to be covered on that. And then lastly is the Boeing. I did 2 plays here because this one was a little bit bigger. I bought 10 of the contracts, and with the credit being 196, around 200, my max risk is like $60 a contract times 10. The most I could lose is $600 on this play, and this one is a weekly. And what I've really seen on some of these condors, it's better to get the November 1st. So we're going to see how this plays out. But Boeing, my logic was on this. I did essentially the opposite of what we saw yesterday, where instead of making a put angled towards the bottom, I did a put towards the top here, and then I figured I'd mess with it a little bit and hedge it with a normal play or just a normal buy on the option. But what we did with this one, sold the 360 call and bought the 362 call, and then sold the 350 put and then bought the 347. I bought 10 of them each there. And why I did that, because it's funny because we were laughing. Somebody posted a play like that, and theirs was pretty ambitious. This one was pretty ambitious too. The whole thing we're trying to take advantage of is getting a high credit, and that was pretty much the only way that I was able to do this here. But this one's bullish. I sold the 350 put, so pretty much I need this stock to go higher than 350 and not lower than 360. But I think with the credit we received, I think it actually brings up my cost base to like 345 or something like that, because we collected around $2,000 in premium on it. So this is a bigger play. But then since it did have that, I still believe there could be a random surprise, and I was going to sell some in the money credit spread on the calls if it fell. But then I did the calculation I did from the last video, and I just looked right across the chain. The same amount of money I was going to risk, I could have just bought a put with more or less unlimited gain potential. So I did that, risk $600 here, risk $200 here. But if anything gets trapped in the middle, like I'm expecting, I will pretty much lose on that. So we'll see what happens with that. They're going to report tomorrow. And again, the fact that they're being a Wednesday, it's going to be very interesting to see how they play out throughout the week, because they might still end up holding premium, or they could deflate faster than we expect. And some of those plays could be duds, but the follow-up and continuations on everything is going to be very important. So I'm excited for that. But those are your plays. Let's talk about everything else right off the bat. I mean, it's very, very simple. These are really all I'm going to be paying attention to tomorrow. Again, we're going to bring up the earnings. We'll maybe look at Microsoft again to see if that changes. But watch the chip makers. Intel dropped, and they didn't drop as much, but this is one of my favorite lower volatility, bigger name companies. Texas Instruments is going to have the follow-up. And if you guys remember, last time it kind of cucked and then moved, but maybe because this is the second time guiding down, they could drop a lot more. So I'm going to really be looking for Texas Instruments. Then Micron and AMD, they're going to fall into the place with the smaller price, lower movements. And then NVIDIA, though. You could play SMH if you want. SMH might even work for just the indexes in general. So it's saying they're back up, but they dropped 3%. But if you want to even do some spreads or iron condors, you could just play the index as a whole. And then NVIDIA, they were up. NVIDIA was up a lot. I don't think you guys realize it was a big drop. So we'll see what happens with them. But keep your eye out for them. Then watch Google, and this is related to Facebook, because Facebook had a big drop, and we still had that rollover, thankfully. So maybe that could end up working out for us here. But Facebook, I didn't think it was going to drop this big when the news came out. They're expanding the Attorney General investigation to pretty much all 50 states, and the stock did not like that at all. I think some of the VP of ads left as well, but it didn't drop as much when that news came out. But overall, Facebook had that news, but then it's kind of getting my eye towards Google, because Google hasn't really it showed more stability compared to some of these other tech companies and how they're going to be with earnings. So watch out for them. Watch Apple. They got hit with the tech stuff too, so that even actually makes me want to look at Microsoft. I think they dropped a little bit. We'll see. But then finally, watch healthcare. BIIB. I think this news could be BS. So I'm looking at plays for November 1st, so maybe this could be a potential play, but I guess we'll talk about that there tomorrow morning. I want to see how it plays by day 2. But some analysts and banks are saying there's no way this is going to happen, and this was a big cause of contention for this company. This is why this company chart looks like this, because of this Alzheimer's drug. So for it to come back up here, and now the rumors, it's very speculative. A lot of people don't know what's going on with this. I suggest, if you can, research this as much as possible, bring some info, and we'll all be able to act on it the right way. But I think that could be a real big opportunity. A lot of people, that's what I thought was the most ironic part. A lot of people were talking about the opportunity you could have made if you bought it. I think there's opportunity here if this is false. So watch that. But then in the same respect, watch Anthem and UNH. Healthcare got a really big boost off of that. Anthem's going to report tomorrow, but 2-3%, and then Anthem reporting tomorrow. That's going to be great. So watch those. Watch Boeing in the morning, McDonald's and Home Depot. And that play we said yesterday, that 200, that ended up going up. So that was a good thing to watch. And that was kind of showing me, well, Microsoft was pricing the same thing as McDonald's, and then it ended up having this big move. We might actually be able to see a mispricing on Microsoft's option chain. So we're going to come back to that tomorrow. Watch HD. I wanted to roll over on the Robinhood. I might do it on this other account, but I think it might start to get time here to get a rollover for next week, not necessarily this week, and see what we could get offered on the price to keep that. And I still have that other place, so I might have to roll over, and we'll see what we do there. Then watch Roku. Again, we got puts on those, so I want to see how that plays out. We're responding to Netflix, and then Chipotle as the continuation, along with every other continuation, and then Netflix. But that is your watch list, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you post your watch list. Make sure you drop your thumbs up on the video. Make sure we see you in the morning. Make sure you're hydrated, healthy, ready to go. Control the budgets for earnings and keep your head in the game. If you guys are seeing, I was way out of it today. We were still able to make some moves, so it's going to be interesting to see how these play. And the key I just learned from today, I wasn't feeling too good. I just wanted to put on a play so I could just stop thinking about it. But in the end, patience is what really paid off, especially we'll see how that plays out tomorrow. But that is it, baby. So let's go.